Welcome back, race fans, to the Thursday Night Nitro series here on the Boom Tube, and welcome to Phoenix Raceway here in the Arizona desert, just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, of course. My name is Adam LaVox, going to be bringing you all the action here for race number 11 out of 12 for this season number 2 of the Thursday Night Nitro series, presented by SoaringLogos.com. Glad to have you along with us. We're set to kick off some great action here at Phoenix Raceway. It's a tight track. It's a shorter track. It's a bit of a tricky track here in the Arizona desert. Very hard on the tires on these race cars, and it's a bit of a strategic battle just as much as it is a physical battle here in the desert. But we're here to bring you all the action tonight. They're just wrapping up qualifying. We'll get you those results in just a moment as they become available. For now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our point standings for the Thursday Night Nitro Shootout. On top of the heap is Alex Wiggins with 1,061 points coming off that Martinsville win, maximizing points last time we were on the racetrack. That, of course, being 3 entire weeks ago. But currently, the standings 1,061 points, having gained the lap lead bonus, the most laps led bonus, and the no contact bonus at Martinsville, of all places, last time we convened here on the Boom Tube. Max Bauman for THR is in second place with 1,048, and just behind him, Aaron Mack with 1,039. Just 4 points behind him is that number 38, Zach Miller, kind of a dark horse in this championship. Kind of quietly does his thing mid-pack and somehow finds himself up toward the front at the end of the race. One of those Kevin Harvick types that you don't notice until the end. We call him the closer. Let's see if he can get it done and close the deal tonight here at Phoenix. Greg Burchett, Chef Greg, with 1,028 points, just a 1-point lead above Randall Peasley. They're going to be battling out for that 5th spot in the standings. But as it stands right now, Alex on top of the heap. Can he defend that win after last week? We surely expect him to put up another strong points day today, but that's all going to unfold before us in just a moment here at Phoenix Raceway. Cars circulating for warm-up. Let's go take a look at those qualifying results. Craig Bell tops the charts, back after a bit of a hiatus as well. That number 14 right back to the top of the board with a 26.431, followed by Kyle Nadeau in the 97 with just 0.04 of a second separating the two. Devin Maines back after a very long break. Glad to have Devin back on track in that number 5 U.S. Army Esports machine. He's 1/10 off the lead with Kenny Reel, just a couple thousandths off of that 3rd spot, down in 4th place. Alex Wiggins, your points leader, starting P5, P6 for Andy Alt, P7 for Max Bauman, who's looking to chase down that number 11 here this afternoon. Devin Gentry had a strong showing in his opening start. We'll expect more out of that number 12 this evening. Let's see if he can get it done in the desert here at Phoenix. Greg Burchett starting P9, Peasley P10, so you see those two get to kick off that battle right away. Zach Miller is going to start P11, and Brendan Odell in the number 16 is going to roll off P12 for the evening. That is your starting grid. Warm-up just about to wrap up, and we will get this race underway. We have one race remaining on the schedule, and that will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway next Thursday night. Hope to see you all there as we settle this battle for the Thursday Night Nitro Series Shootout. Decide who wins the championship this season, being season number 2 for the Thursday Night Nitro Series. Of course, right back here on the Boom Tube, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Bringing you the action from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That'll be next Thursday, I believe. That'll land us 4th next week. Steve's in chat already cheering on Devin. We'll see how he does in that number 12 this afternoon. This will be a transitional race, so we're going to go from sunset conditions to night conditions throughout the race. So that's going to change the balance of these race cars a little bit as we see Burchett in a bit of poor condition coming off turn 2. For any of you not familiar with the new layout of Phoenix Raceway, it's a little bit different than it was back in the 2000s and 2010s. They have actually changed the position of the start-finish line. It is not on the straight section that you see there in the middle of your screen. It is actually on the dogleg section. That whole entire paved area, that entire area is open for racing. So there is no boundaries to where the cars can go on the racetrack. If it's paved, you can use it, and they're going to use every inch of that this evening. On your left there, you see that big, wide open dogleg section with the giant lit up green cactus. That is the start-finish line here at Phoenix Raceway, as of just a couple years ago when it was repaved and reconfigured. All right, session getting changed over to the race session. Drivers will be gridding up in just a moment. We'll, of course, take you through the lineup top to bottom. Bit of a smaller field today. That's just going to lean into the strategy component here at Phoenix. Got a lot more room to work with. Not as many cars to worry about, which means you're going to have to be on your A game the entire race. One small mistake can cost you big when everyone's hot lapping around this 1-mile racetrack. Beautiful scenery in the background here at Phoenix Raceway. Fans up on the hill in the background getting ready to go, as are we. Hope you're ready for some racing action. I sure am. It's been too long since we've been back in the booth, but we're back this weekend and next weekend to bring you the closing of season number 2 for the Thursday Night Nitro series. Getting ready to roll off, kick off race number 11 here at Phoenix. I hope you're ready for a great race. I'm ready to see a great race. Crank Bell going to lead him off. Kyle Nadeau second, followed by Devin Maines. And Kenny Reel to his outside. Waiting on those lights to illuminate that green flag to come out as they come through to start the race. One lap. We're going to extend just the start by one lap. Waiting for those lights to go out on the pace car. We'll go ahead and take you down to the rest of the field. Alex Wiggins rolling off P5 with Andy Alt to his outside. The man chasing him in that 89, that's Max Bauman. Starting right in line behind him. Devin Gentry in the number 12 behind him. Greg Burchett's going to start 9th. Randall Peasley, P10. Brendan Odell, P11. Zach Miller, P12. Lights off on the pace car. We're going to get ready for some racing action. Number 14, Crank Bell, is going to lead him to the start. Down in the mid-corners where the start-finish line is at Phoenix Raceway. There is the restart zone. Expect the green flag to fall, and there it is. We are underway for 165 laps in the Arizona desert. Down to that apron immediately goes the 14, the 5, and the rest trail behind. We got the 97 to the outside, down into turn 1, but it's still the 14 out front. Nadeau still hanging on to his outside. He's going to get a run down the back stretch. Dead even as they enter 3 and 4 with the 5 trailing just behind. Kenny Reel in the back, looking to the inside of Devin Maines in the 5. Not going to happen yet. Behind them, Max Bauman and Alex Wiggins going at it. Bauman gets an advantage over Wiggins. Already one spot up for that number 89 machine, making moves happen early on in the running tonight. Nadeau takes over the lead from Bell, gets another great run on the outside. Not quite clear yet. Has half a car length on him, another even. Going back down into turn 4. Way to the outside for the 97. Getting familiar with that outside wall. You see the 97 takes that inside on the dog leg. 14 out of camera view. They're going so far down toward the inside wall. Caution is out. We should be spinning in the back of the pack. Championship leaders involved. 89 looks to be involved. No serious damage seen on that race car. Looks like he's going to be able to continue. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our Rogue Promotions replay cam. Let's see if we can't dissect what just happened in that incident. Take a look at that number 89 on the left side of your screen, right over that NASCAR Cup Series logo. Down to the inside on the apron. Let's see, is it a bad merge back up? No. Oh, just gets run over by the 88 just a little bit. Has to check up because of that shallow entry into turn 3. I don't know if the 88 was ready for that or not. Looks like a bit of a racing incident on my end. But we'll let you be the judge as we go through the opening laps here tonight. But no harm, no foul. Both cars looking okay. We'll go ahead and inspect that number 88 at Kenny Reel, see if there's any front-end damage on that race car. Still hanging out in P4. Expect him to be all right. Go ahead and take a look at the front end. Oh, yeah, no worries for the number 88 National Guard machine. A little bit of a wrinkle in that left side door, but that shouldn't be a factor here tonight. Out front, just barely holding on over Kyle Nadeau. 14, Crank Bell doing all he can to hold off the advances of that number 97. Looks like 88 might be pitting. We'll see if he's feigning pit stop. If he actually takes pit service, looks like he's going to come in for possibly slight repair and 4 fresh General Tire tires. Lots of aggressive racing here at Phoenix. A lot of options. You see multiple grooves at play. You got the 97 all the way on the top side. 14 holding it down on the bottom. Got the option to go all the way down on the inside of this dog leg. As you see here, you can go all the way down to that wall if you please. Just be careful coming back up on the racetrack. Some drivers won't elect to do that. Some will. Looks like most will at the beginning of the run. Might not be something you'll be as comfortable doing on old tires, but we'll see if we have that come into play or not this evening. Will we have a caution-filled race, or will we see long green flag runs? That remains to be seen as the pace lights, or the lights are off on the pace car, rather. And 14, Frank Bale gets ready to lead him to the green flag once again. Bit of a long stretch. Pit road's on the back stretch here at Phoenix International. Wraps around towards the start-finish line, so it is a bit of a hike after that pace car comes off pit lane. So we get to the restart zone, which we're in right now. Waiting for that white line down on the racetrack to indicate the restart zone. There it is. He waits all the way to the end of it. Firing off now goes the 14. We're back underway at Phoenix here on lap number 7. The 14 down to the inside. Devin Maines making every bit of ground he can on this restart, slinging it to the outside. The number 97. You see two cars in the fence. Looks like Peasley and maybe Burchett there in the back. And Wiggins on pit lane. Not sure what happened there with the 11. Maybe some incidental contact during the caution cycle. Nothing coming up on timing and scoring, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that situation, as we didn't expect the 11 to be in pit lane right before the restart. See contact leaning on each other there between Burchett, or sorry, I think that's Peasley and possibly Odell. All right, that was Peasley and Miller. Miller in the black, number 38. Battle right now for 4th and 5th, getting pretty tight back here. Andy Alt has it. Max Baumann starting to chop away at the positions again after that brief spin that brought out the last caution. Already slicing through the field, back up to 5th position already, and working on the back end of that number 4. These two are teammates, the 4 and the 89, but don't expect that number 4 car to lay over for you any which way. It's a competitor through and through, and we're going to see him try his best to hold off that 89. Max sending it down to the inside on the dog leg, still not able to get position on the 4 of all. Kenny Reel took it down pit lane once again. He's going to be 2 laps down, as will Wiggins. Both of them are going to have a long way to go, a long uphill climb. They want to get back up front before the end of tonight's race. Shout out to Brendan Odell, the number 16, joining us for the first time in a while, bringing that Royal Pegasus Motorsports number 16 back on the racetrack. The more the merrier as competition goes. Like to be involved next season, go ahead and check out the Thursday Night Nitro Facebook page. Go ahead and send a Facebook message to our moderators, and they'll point you in the right direction to get involved in the recruitment races coming up in the next several weeks. Be more than happy to have people participating in here. Get involved in this event. We got great prizes from our sponsors this season. For the winner, including a championship, custom design championship banner featuring their race car on it, as well as either a $100 Lionel Racing gift card or a signed number 43 124 scale die cast from the king himself, Richard Petty, courtesy of Randall Peasley. Several other prizes, including smaller Lionel Racing gift cards, $25 value, going to go out in random drawing at the end of the season. So there is something for everybody, even if you're not the fastest. You try to make it worth your while. For as hard as it was for everyone to separate on that first run. Frank Bell found something here on this second restart because he is checking out from that number 97 of Nadeau. Nadeau has nothing for him, sitting about a second back, and Maines gets that gap stretched on him as well. He's 2 seconds back with that number 4 of Andy Alt all over the back of his U.S. Army Esports Chevrolet. Alt pulling away from his teammate in the 89. Then Operation Iron Warrior Toyota Camry putting in work here in the desert. Bit out of place for that particular organization. For those of you who don't know what Operation Iron Warrior is, they are a veteran nonprofit. Missions to address issue of combat member mental health issues by reuniting them with a supportive team with a purposeful mission, giving them direction. And they harness the immense power of racing, which is what we're doing here, whether it's auto racing, snowmobile competitions, or ATV or UTV adventures to create team unity by working to achieve a common goal, and provides them with a sense of purpose and camaraderie and vital support that a lot of service members might find themselves needing. Through those activities, they foster resilience and mental well-being and sense of belonging for everybody who has served. So quite a excellent cause. If you're interested in checking that out, go ahead and visit OperationIronWarrior.org. They're based out of Alaska, so that's a bit of a stretch from the Arizona desert, bit of an opposite. Representing nonetheless, glad to have them on board. That number 4 machine involved in the organization. Battle for that 7th spot starting to heat up. Burchett under fire from Peasley in the 63. Got both of them in the fence on the last run. They found themselves yet again. Remember, this is a battle for 5th position in the point standings. Possibly higher, depending on how this day goes. Miller stands to lose a few points. As of right now, finds himself 4 laps down. So a good chance for both of these drivers to climb their way up the ranks. We'll see what they're able to do with that opportunity here tonight. Alex Wiggins still 2 laps behind the leader, as well as Kenny Reel running about half a lap behind him. Wiggins trying to work his way by that 38, trying to climb some positions, maybe race his way back on the lead lap. He's got a tall order ahead of him. Still Frank Bell out front of Nadeau by a second, and another second and a quarter back to Devin Maines in the 3rd spot. Still trying to hold off the advances of that number 4 machine as the sun goes down. Long shadows starting to be cast off these race cars. Golden sun glinting off some of the metallic numbers throughout the field. We'll love to see it at sunset in the desert here in Phoenix. Which means one thing. Racetrack's going to cool off. Racetrack's going to speed up. These race cars are going to get more competitive. Let's see what the new balance of the race cars, this newfound speed, means for these drivers. We see a bit of a fall off here. Might have had a bit of an issue here out of the 14 because suddenly half a second gone in just one set of corners for Frank Bell over Kyle Nadeau. Massive gains, maybe a bit of a moment there for the 14. No damage seen on that race car. Maybe just got wide in the corner and had to really get out of the throttle. That's giving Kyle Nadeau a bit of an opportunity, though. He's within half a second of that lead. We'll see if he can make something happen here on lap number 26. Behind them, you see that battle going on. It's a three-way battle between the 5, the 4, the 89. Devin Gentry in that lone Ford Mustang also starting to work his way back up toward this group. I think that 5 might be holding up the pack a little bit. Seen the 4 try to make advances. He wasn't able to make it happen. Now the 85 or 89 closing up on both of those drivers, as is the 12. Can Gentry make something happen as he starts gaining on this battle? Similar lap times all the way down through the field. 27.1 to 27.28 for almost the entire field. Entire top 7 running all within a tenth of each other. Very, very close competition between all these drivers. We've seen 16 in for service. Expect to lose 2 laps under green flag pit stops. Don't want to be caught when the caution flag flies. That's going to trap you 2 laps down. You want that green flag cycle to go through for everybody, so you're not losing too much ground. We'll see what the 16 has in store as he's still on pit lane. Only a 1 mile racetrack. Expect the drivers go somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 laps on a tank of fuel. We'll see how accurate that is as we go throughout the evening. As the conditions change, the cars will gain grip. They'll have more on throttle time, so expect that to go down just a little bit as we go throughout the evening. Battle for a 3rd spot starting to fade just a little bit. Maine's put in a gap, a half-second gap now on the number 4 of Alt, with Bauman also falling off the tail end of the 4. So a bit of a pace loss for the 2 Camrys that were trying to run down Devin Maines in the 5. Now here Peasley still trying to make something happen on that number 33, taking the outside lane through 1 and 2. Now under attack from the 38, who's a couple laps behind. Gonna let him by. Maybe try to copy a thing or 2, get on the same pace. Burchett able to pull a little bit of a gap now, about a second back between Burchett and Peasley. Burchett trying to hang on to that 5th position in points, possibly gain a spot if Miller stays a couple laps down as he is now. Field starting to spread out. Every mistake gets amplified once this happens, especially on pit road. As these drivers start to approach those green flag pit stops, they're going to have to run down the checklist in their minds, what they got to do, where their marks are for pit road entry. Be sure to get down to pit lane speed. You do not want to get a speeding penalty here in Phoenix. That will result in an easy 2 laps down if you have to come through and serve a pass through. These drivers need to keep it under the pit lane speed limit. They got to stop in their box. Some of these boxes are a little bit on the tricky side to get into as they're on a curved portion of pit road. Some drivers will have to be mindful of that. Of course, stopping as centered as you can in your box. Make sure your pit crew doesn't have to reposition in order to perform the service. Make sure they can just go right to the lug nuts immediately. Don't have to move left or right to accommodate the position of the car. So lots of different things you got to nail to make these pit stops quick. There's no one better at that than that number 11. We've seen him gain on pit road time and time again. That was one of the things that helped him to victory at Martinsville Speedway just a few short weeks ago. Expect that to be a bit of a tool for him to use tonight as well. But still trapped 2 laps down right now. Probably hoping for a caution to get one of those back via the Lucky Dog free pass. Has not happened yet, but anything can happen here at Arizona. Or, sorry, at Phoenix. Raceway. You see some drivers really sending it in there, getting a little piece of the wall, tapping the wall on exit with that right rear quarter panel. Especially off turn 2. That turn flattens out really quick. It likes to make the car understeer a lot. These drivers have it down there trying to maximize every last inch of racing surface as they can, from the extreme outside all the way down to the extreme inside on that dog leg, trying to make things happen. Any little advantage they possibly can over the competition. Out front's Crank Bell. Stretch that gap back out to nearly 0.9 seconds. After that slip up about 10 laps ago, cost him a little bit of track position. Now that gap's starting to close again. Is he toying with the 97? What's going on here? That car didn't look out of shape. Maybe some fuel saving going on for that 14. Crank Bell, no stranger to a bit of strategery. There's an advantage to be gained by strategy. You can bet that number 14 is going to find it. We'll see what he's got in store as that gap still continues to close from half a second down to 0.4 to Kyle Nadeau in the 97. Let's go ahead and ride along with that number 97 as he tries. Running down that number 14 for the lead. Now just 0.2 seconds separate the top two spots. Yeah. You have to wonder what went wrong with the 14. Maybe too much tire wear. The tires can go from a lot of grip to a little grip in a hurry on these ARCA Menard Series cars. Have to wonder if maybe a little bit too much wear on that right front. He was setting a blistering pace for so long. Nadeau with the pace advantage on the outside. He's going to clear Bell off of turn 2. Bell's not done yet. Back to the inside, but Nadeau's still going to clear as they come off of turn 4 across the stripe. 97 going to lead that lap. Massive pace loss for the 14 as the 5's right in the picture too, ready to pounce on the seemingly wounded number 14. Got to expect the General Tire rubber on that race car not very happy right now. He is doing everything he can to stay with the 97. Now he's got the dirty air being in second place to contend with as well. That front end is not going to be happy on that race car. Holding on pretty good so far, but man, whatever that initial issue was, definitely struggling with it as Maines is doing everything he can to take advantage of this as well. Looks to the inside. Bell blocks down into turn 4, is able to successfully hold him off. Maines has to lift just a little bit and back out mid-corner. That's going to hurt his exit speed just a little bit. Trying different lines here. It's a bit of a diamond. Takes that shallow entry, widens it out in the center, and then comes back down for the exit. Showing the nose once again. Says, hey, don't leave that door open. I'm ready to take it if you let me. Absolute dogfight here for the second spot between the, well, first spot really. The top 3 all under a blanket right now. The 97, the 14, the 5. I don't know what happened with Bell, but man, is he fighting back now. Lost that pace for a couple laps. The 97 got by, but suddenly the 14's got that pace back, and he's hanging with him for now. Take a look back from that number 97 as he's trying to run away from these two. As we inch ever closer to green flag pit stops. See who's put in the effort on their homework to nail that pit entry, nail the pit stop, nail the exit here at Phoenix Raceway. That could be a big decider, especially when the proximity between cars is this close on track. You can leapfrog the cars in front of you very easily if you have just a couple tenths difference in your pit stop under green flag conditions. 97 starting to stretch that gap now, half a second over Bell. Five car still working on the back end of that 14, not able to make it happen there. The 14 goes really wide through 1 and 2 that time. 5 shows the nose, takes that shallow entry. The 14 seems to get a better run off here. 5 pushes up toward the fence every time. You see sparks flying just about every single lap off the right side of the number 5 machine, using every last millimeter and then some of the racetrack. Hey, you sacrifice the paint for extra half a thousandth of a second per lap, I suppose. Off for turn 4 again. Every last ounce of real estate used by the number 5, trying to make something happen. Frank Bell, wow, big send. Almost had that car drifting, trying to keep that tail end out of the fence. That was an aggressive entry there through 1 and 2 for the 14. Probably trying to change the balance of that race car a little bit. If the right front tire gives up, you kind of got to drive it off the right rear. Do what you can to throw it in so you're riding off that right rear to make the car rotate instead of that right front, which he might be resorting to, just judging by the way he's throwing it in the corner. But whatever he's doing, it's been effective. Still been able to hold off Maines for the second spot so far. Five car throwing a bit of variety into the lines. Been showing the nose. Finally gets position on the inside of the 14. 14's going to try to chop him down through 3 and 4. He's able to hold him off just barely. See, Maines likes to show that nose. You see the 14 try to seal that off last time. Here through turns 1 and 2, he's going to do the opposite this time. He's going to take that high lane that the 5 took last time. So a bit of mind games going on between these two drivers. Pulling out a lot of tricks, but Devin Maines in that 5 not able to gain ground on the 14. See, multiple different grooves tried, multiple different approaches to the entry tried. He says, I'm going to call it. I'm going to try to get the advantage on tires. I'm going to come in a lap earlier than him, maybe a couple laps earlier. Use that fresh rubber to gain ground. Expect that to kind of tip off the rest of the field. We see the remainder of the leaders staying out for now, but will that pit call by the number 5 force the hand of the rest of these drivers? Or will they elect to stay out and surrender that lead to the 5 car on fresh rubber? Some of these drivers are going to have to choose between fuel strategy and tire strategy. What's going to mean more to them at the end of the race? They're trying to peer into that crystal ball and see what they're going to need for the end of the race. Ooh, that 97 had a bit of a wiggle coming in. Hopefully didn't speed on pit lane. That's going to hand over the lead to the number 4 car, Andy Alt. Frank Bell in the 14 pit last lap as well. So that's 2 leaders now in the pit lane. 4 in the 89 staying out for now. How much can they afford to go on the old General Tire rubber? See a lot of these drivers struggling to hang on to the race cars. If you're that number 11 car, you're definitely staying out as long as possible, trying to hope for somebody to screw up the pit road entry and maybe cause a caution to get one of those laps back. You would love nothing more than for a caution to come out at this point. Max Baumann inherits the lead for now. It's going to be up in the air. Who has it by the time this green flag pit cycle is done? Currently showing Craig Bell as the leader, as the front runner of the 3 cars who have already come down pit lane out of that lead group. We'll see if that holds true. We'll go ahead and take a look back at this battle. 14 once again in front of the 97. Ooh, very close to the wall there for Leto that time around. 4 car and the 12 car now in pit lane. 63 of Peasley on pit lane as well. Leaves just the 89 currently leading and the 33. To come in for pit service under this first green flag pit cycle. This is the battle for the provisional lead once the green flag pit cycles are through, and the 89 and the 33 complete their service. Kind of a back and forth. We saw Craig Bell pull away for a couple laps. Now we see the 97 getting it hooked up. Seeing maybe a little bit more pace out of that Lowe's Chevrolet than we saw while the sun was still out. As lights have fallen here on Phoenix Raceway, I think we're seeing a little bit more pace on the Kyle Nadeau than we had seen earlier. Maybe has something a little more to offer Craig Bell in terms of speed as we head into the latter stages of the race. Yeah, I got to agree with you there, Andy. 5 car looking real smart under the lights at Phoenix Raceway. I believe he does all his own paints, actually. So, metallic number 5 on the side, reflecting the lighting around the racetrack really well. Always going to put forward a sharp-looking race car there for the number 5. Max Baumann still out. Gotta imagine he's got a couple more laps of fuel to burn than everyone else, having spun to bring out that first caution. But how much ground is he losing to the leaders? Will this hurt him in the long run? Yes, he's going to get that 1 point for a lap led, but you have to wonder if it's going to cost him in the long run when it comes to the overall strategy of tonight's race. Probably desperately hoping for a caution. That would be a perfect scenario for this number 89 to be able to get back in the mix, have the freshest tires in the field. That would be huge for Baumann as he's putting his bid in for that top spot on the points board, trying to chase that number 11, who he's still ahead of at the moment. Wiggins trapped 2 laps down. If caution came out right now, he could trap a lot of guys down. Have Wiggins stuck 2 laps down instead of 1 lap down. Beasley and others as well. Burchett hanging in there, probably hoping that 89 will pit so we can get that 1 point for the one bonus point for leading a lap. But kind of a game of chicken out here on the racetrack. Who's got the fuel to spend? Who can take it further under this green flag run? So far, the 89's not looking to give an inch. 33's hanging out there, trying to get that point if he can. Not sure it's going to happen though. I think the 89's got a couple more laps of fuel than he does. Metallic liveries on these Royal Pegasus Motorsport cars, looking mighty fine under the lights as well. While we're on the topic, checking back in with that battle for the provisional lead. It's still the 14 out in front of the 97. Both of them putting the number 38 another lap down. Not a good points day for the 38. Got a bad start to the race. Looks like he might have missed the grid. I believe it's also pulling double duty as race control. So a sacrifice there on the part of Zach Miller. Doing what he has to make the league run smoothly. Once again, the pace shifting back and forth. 14 pulls away, 97 reels him back in. But once he gets up to that bumper, the 14, he's finding it difficult to do anything with him. Has the pace and clean air. Once he gets a bit of a gap, once you close up on the bumper, that car in front, these Arkham Menard Series cars have a lot of drag to them. So if you get up behind the bumper of that car in front, it horrendously affects the turn-in response of these race cars, and just your ability to hold the turn. Every time he gets there, he just loses a little bit on exit, not able to get back to the gas quite as soon as the front end wants to understeer. The 11 car going potentially another lap down once things cycle through. Bauman still out front, Burchett second. Bell and Nadeau will be first and second if things stay as they are. Bauman finally heading down pit lane. Possibly. Go ahead and check in. Looks like, yes, 89 will come down this time. Looked really quick. Looks like he got it woed down for pit lane. Greg Burchett says, finally, I get to maybe lead a lap here. Get that bonus point. Try to stretch that lead over Peasley. Stretch that gap back to 6th. Almost got lapped by Bauman, though. He's got a long way to... He's going to have to stay out 2 additional laps to get that bonus point. See if he's got the fuel to do so. Burchett has not pit this race yet. He has stretched at 77 laps from the start. Has not come in once to pit lane yet. Well, everyone else pit on lap 60 or sooner, except for Max Bauman, of course. Stretched at an extra 17 laps for this number 33. He's playing some very different strategy from the rest of the field. Now it's Craig Bell out front. We got Kyle Nadeau on the outside trying to get that top spot. Side by side off of turn 2. Here they come down the backstretch. Advantage the 97 to the outside. Still not clear of the 14. But man, did he have a huge run off of turn 2. 14 kind of pinched down to the bottom. Looks like he might lose that advantage though as the 97 just clears him. But man, what a send in there for the 14. Hard braking there to the inside for Crank Bell. Making that right front tire work overtime, trying to hang on to that lead, but he is not going to be able to. It's going to be the 97 and Nadeau up to the top spot. See if Devin Maines has the pace to reinsert himself in the conversation for that top spot where they were running 1, 2, 3 with the top 3 currently. They were right in a tight group before the green flag cycle of pit stops. Looks like the 5 lost a little bit of ground to the 2 leaders on this set of tires. Maybe a little bit longer pit stop than anticipated. Slightly longer as we have it. We had a 14.12 for Frank Bell. That would put him in the lead. We got a 14.7 pit stop time for the 97, a 14.9 for Maines. So definitely lost a couple tenths on that pit stop. This lead battle not over yet. Bell reeling the 97 back in. What's he going to do with them? Both cars taking a fairly wide lane through 1 and 2. Down to the backstretch, still nose to tail. 97 with the advantage. 14 going to show the nose to the inside. I think Nadeau's liking that outside momentum, though, coming off of turn 4. That served him well. That's how he got the lead in the first place. Can he hold on to it here? As the 14 goes on the attack. Oh, a little bit too wide for the 14. Sent it in deep. Bit of a scrape on the wall. Now he comes down to the bottom on exit. He is driving that 14 Chevrolet for all it's worth, trying to get that top spot from Nadeau. For the 14, it's not about points anymore. It's just about wins. That's what he came here to do. That's what he's going to try to do. Down to the inside again. Gets position on the left rear quarter of the 97. 97 gets a great run off the corner again. Going to put 2 car lengths as they come down the back straight. They have underestimated. That was a massive run for the 97. About 5 car lengths separate the 2 now. Once again, excellent pace out of that 14 early run. Looks like that 97's got that tire saving down to a science, though. As late run, he pours on the speed, is able to separate himself from the rest of the field. It's behind them. Devin Maines being hounded by the number 38. Max Bauman about a half lap behind that battle. In 4th spot, gaining ground on the leaders, however. The gap was 10.5 seconds to the lead, now 8.7 for the number 89. Fresher tires on this 89 than just about everyone else in the field, save for Greg Burchett. Having come in at lap 70, so he's got about a 13-lap advantage on the leaders as far as those tires go, so expect a little bit of a gain, but will it pay off in the long run? That's what we're going to find out, or will those tires kind of even out as the run goes on? So far, so good, though, as he finds himself about 2.5 seconds closer to the lead than he was when he came off of pit lane. Things getting pretty spread out here on the racetrack. Nadeau's starting to stretch that lead now over half a second. 0.7 will be the gap as they come off of 2 this time by. A little bit of contact with that fence on entry for the number 14 again. That right front tire starting to suffer as we see Maines starting to reel him in from just about a second back. Playing out much like last green flag run. The 5 starting to run down the 14, but will he be able to complete that pass once he gets there? Once again, scraping the outside wall for that number 14. That's going to give the 5 the opportunity to send it to the inside. Frank Bell is hanging on to that thing with everything he's got, trying to hold off the advances of Devin Maines in the 5. Can he make it happen? The 5 takes a wide exit onto turn 4. Now crosses over down to the inside, all the way down to the apron for the 5. He's going to get alongside into turn 2. Still side by side, could be advantage to the 14 coming off the corner, but that 5 looks like he's got more grip in those front tires, so he stays alongside as I head down the backstretch. Bell sends it in deep, has to really put the wheel into it to keep that thing out of the fence. As you see, the 5 gets a little bit of that right rear tire into the wall. Kenny Reel has a front row seat to this battle. A bit of a separation now between the 14 and the 5. 38 is Zach Miller. Kind of being a bit of a roadblock. Let's see what happens here. Kind of being a pick for the 5 right now. 5 sends it to the outside, not able to do it. The 38's got speed. He just doesn't have track position. He's stuck 6 laps down. Finally going to let that spot go to the 5 car. Maines back on the attack, but he lost a little bit of ground there. Sitting about 6 to 7 car lengths behind the 14 at present. Got a little bit more clean air to work with now. It should catch up to that 14 again in short order, but we'll see how this thing pans out. That 14 seems to be able to produce the pace when he absolutely has to. Top 3 drivers all coming in between lap 56 and 58, so pretty even tires for all of the above. Pardon the network issue there for the 5 for just a moment. But Kenny Reel's got pretty decent pace too. He's hanging right there with the 5, not gaining a little bit. Currently running 3 laps down, running competitive lap times, 27.29 last time by for the 88, 27.30 for the 5 last time. So very similar pace between all these drivers. It's unfortunate. A few of our competitors got trapped a couple laps down early on in the running. Found that pace again. 5 is finding it hard to gain ground. He has gained some, taking that 6 car length gap down to about 3. Still proving difficult to overcome the dirty air off the back of that 14. You know, he is doing everything he can to keep that 5 back there. At some point, you got to think he runs out of tricks, though. But it is so hard to make passes in these ARCA Menard Series race cars. Dirty air just plays such a big factor. When I say dirty air, I mean the wake of the air off the car in front of you. because you don't have that high-speed air pressing down on the nose of your race car because it's being disrupted by the car in front of you. You don't have the same front grip because you don't have that air pushing down on your tires if you're behind another race car. But that's not a concern for the 5 now because now he's alongside, not behind him. So he's trying to make a move on the 14 here as we head through turns 1 and 2. They're going to be side by side off the corner. Still dead even as I head to 3 and 4, sending it deep as the 5 down to the inside. No, he is able to clear. 88's going to follow him through as well. Down to the apron there for Kenny Reel. He's going to try to make up a spot. He's got some fresher tires than the rest of these guys up front. Maybe make a lap back if he can clear them and set his sights on the 97. So while this might not seem important because he's 3 laps down, this could very well be important for the 88. He can make this happen, but of course not wanting to get too involved in this battle if he's not actively racing for those positions either. Good respect there by the 88, not pushing the issue too much. Just trying to be opportunistic where he can. So that's going to move the number 5. Devin Main's finally up to P2 after a couple different battles with the 14. The 14's not done yet, though. Man, he's driving that thing on the right rear on the entry. You see him nearly completely sideways. Leaves a bit of a black skid mark off that right rear tire on corner entry. Just sending it in there on the brakes for all it's worth. Trying to get that spot back. I don't think he's got the tire left to hang on to the 5, though. He can get there. I just don't think he has to drive off the corner to make it stick. Especially riding the right rear that hard into the corner entry. '88 takes a look to the inside yet again. +1 spot for Burchett. Looks like he's up as Devin Gentry pits out of the 6th spot. Now down to 7th. He's on pit lane for his second stop of the afternoon. Kyle Nadeau still leads by 2.7 seconds out front. A lot of pace under the lights for this Lowe's Chevrolet. Run that pretty high lane all the way around. Not looking to make pace on the low side. Probably trying to conserve a little bit of tire on that outside lane, I suppose. Through 3 and 4, taking that low lane all the way up to the outside lane before the start-finish line. See if he takes that same line here through 1 and 2. Yep, taking that upper groove all the way up on that 3rd groove on entry. Cuts it down just below the middle groove for exit through 3 and 4. Sorry, through 1 and 2. 3 and 4 back to the bottom, making that run to the start-finish line. Good lap time there, 27.2 for your leader, Crank Bell, with a 27.4 last lap, so pace falling off a little bit, 27.3 for Devin Maines. Fastest car of the evening so far looks like going to be a 26.6 out of the number 89, who's I thought was coming in for pit service. Just happened to duck down low enough there to tag the pit exit line, which trips our timing and scoring. But number 5 and 14 both on pit lane. Same lap this time, getting those pit cycles aligned. Expect that to force the 97's hand. Expect him to come within a lap or 2 now. Who should be in position to take another crack at leading the lap, but the number 89 currently running 2nd place, trying to make up some ground. Looks like the forward progress on those fresher tires kind of stalled out for the 89 that time by. We'll see if he elects to stay out as long as possible again, or if he maybe slims it up and tries to get on a similar pit cycle to the rest of the field. Regardless, that's going to put him out front right now. Nadeau on pit lane Burchett looks like he's also going to stay out once again. Coming through lap number 113. Just 58 laps remain in tonight's race. Sorry, 48 laps. Don't mind me, I'm good at talking, not math. Gentry moving his way up the field. Currently sitting P5 after pit cycles. Let's see if he has come down this time yet. Looks like Gentry showing last pit on lap 105. So he has come in for a second pit cycle already. So expect him to land somewhere within the top, possibly top 4 once this thing cycles out. Slowly and methodically kind of working his way up there, been hanging around the top 5 or 6 most of the evening. And maybe improve on that even a little bit more now. Got a new fastest lap of the night. 26.56 out of the 14 of Crank Bell. That was his last lap. He just pit on lap 111, so he's got fresh General Tire rubber on his machine. And he is laying down heaters trying to catch that 97. Still 26.6s for both of these drivers. Both were in a 26.61 last lap. Identical laps for both the 97 and the 14. 97's got some lap traffic to deal with here. He's about to get himself on the lead lap. That's going to put Max Baumann a lap down once he comes in for his pit service, and that's going to keep him there. Baumann in a bit of trouble there as the 38 gets in the outside fence. He's going to have to slow up and get down to that bottom lane. So this battle for the provisional lead after green flag pit stop cycle through. Still got the 89 and the 33 out on the racetrack. Have not taken their second pit service of the evening yet. Neither have the 11 or the 88 of Wiggins or Real. I believe Zach Miller last pit lap number 75 as well. But all of those cars are one or more laps down. Gap stretching out now just a little bit between the 97 and the 14. About half a second separates them on the racetrack right now. Max Baumann would love nothing better than to see a caution right now. Still going to be a bit of a shakeup in the standings right now. Wiggins sitting back in P7. Baumann stands to be about 1 lap down, while Wiggins remains 2 laps down. So still going to gain a point or two over the 11, but he needs a little bit more than that to close the gap. 11 has a pretty healthy points lead, as we saw earlier. In the grand scheme of things, hard to gain positions or gain points in such a small field. Is misfortune. One car doesn't necessarily mean you'll finish that many positions better, which means you're not gaining a whole lot of positions. Wow, big moment there for the 14. Absolute tank slapper there off of turn 4. Nearly spun, but was able to hang on to it. Closest battle on the racetrack right now between the 4 and the 12. Devin Gentry and Andy Alt. That is a battle for the 5th spot. Separated by half a second right now. Gentry over Alt. That number 4 car is one to watch out for on the long run. Really good at saving tires and making things happen the longer we get into these deep green flag runs. See a bit of a shallower entry there through 1 and 2 for the 4 car. Might affect that off-corner speed just a little bit. Running a bit of a deeper line. 12 running a safer mid-line, trying to maintain that straightaway speed. Very similar to what we saw the 97 doing out front. High entry under 1 and 2, cuts it down on exit. 4 losing a little bit of ground there with that shallow entry, not able to get the car turned down quite as much as the 12 for that run off the corner. So he picks up a little bit through the corner in 3 and 4, however. That looks to be the 4's strength. Still half a second between these two drivers. Not a massive amount of tire fall off for these race cars. Last lap for Max Baumann, whose last pit on lap 76 was a 27.5 compared to a 27.25 for Con Ledo, so about a quarter second of fall off. In the grand scheme of things, is not much for any type of stock car, really. Tires are really resilient on these Arca Menard Series cars until they aren't. They kind of go from having a lot of grip to nothing really fast, as we've seen in the case of the 14 on a couple occasions now. Alado picking up pace again, breaking back into the 26-second range with the 26.9 last time by. Still pulling out that lead to the 14 rather. Sits at 1.2 seconds right now. As 89 finally comes down pit lane for service. Definitely be his last stop of the day with 35 to go. It's going to hand over the lead to this man right here, the number 97, Kyle Liddell, getting it done out front, putting the 11 another lap down. Here we got a new battle for this spot. Burchett having finally made his, no, has not made his pit stop yet. I take that back. Last pit lap 77, so he's got to be getting pretty close to making his final pit stop. Don't think he's going to be able to make it all the way in that number 33. Should only be able to make it to, he stretches it to that 170, or 77 lap fuel stint again. That'll only give him to lap 154. It'll be an 11 and a half laps short there in the 33, so expect him to still come down pit road one more time. So while this is technically for position, expect Burchett to have to pit one more time before the end of the race. Gentry starting to pull a bit of gap on that 4, though. Gap now stretched to just about a second between the two. Top two absolutely separated from the rest of the field. There's the 97, the 14, and a whole 16 and a half seconds back from the 14 is the 89. Found himself up to third. Strategy seems to be paying off in some regards. Still going to come home with the top 3, gaining spots the whole way. We thought he was going to end up a little further down the order, but man, those fresh tires have done pretty well. And he had a really good pit stop last time as well. Looks like he just pit for right side tires, a 9.7 second pit stop. So the 89 definitely playing some smart strategy here at the end. Just right side tires, ran a 26.78 second lap. That's only a tenth and a half off of the fastest lap of the race. And that's after he's already put about 6 laps on his tires. So, yeah, some pretty smart strategy calling by the number 89 team tonight. Making the smart moves. Going to end up with a top 3 if things pan out as they are right now. He's got pace on the cars behind, about a half second on Gentry in the 12, so don't expect that 12 to be making up any ground on the 89, having substantially older tires. Pretty spread out as we go through the field. Kyle Liddell still holding off Crank Bell by several seconds, 2 seconds as it stands right now. Max Bauman another 15 seconds behind them. Devin Gentry 3 seconds behind him with Andy Alt. The last car in the top 5 running about 2 seconds behind the 12 car. Kenny Rios been making up spots throughout the night. Look at this, number 88. He was down, I believe, as many as 4 laps once upon a time. Last pit lap 81. If he pits now, I would suspect it's just going to be for fuel. Have just 25 laps remaining. Maybe tires. Probably have to take a little bit of fuel to make 25 laps. Might have time for right sides on that number 88 machine. Keep that thing only 1 lap down instead of maybe 2. Currently hanging out in 6th position, 1 lap down. Greg Burchett in the 33s, P7, with Alex Wiggins still trapped 2 laps down. Unfortunately, not a great night for the points leader. Could stand to gain a spot, though. He finds he's about 2.5 seconds behind Burchett. Might be able to close that gap here. He's got coming to 22 laps to make it happen. Burchett and Wiggins both on the same lap, both in the top 6 in points, so they're both championship contenders. So every last point is going to count as we go into next week, but definitely not going to be the week that Alex envisioned coming in here to Phoenix. Wiggins might have to make another stop too. We'll see how long he can stretch it. He last pit on lap number 82. Expect maybe a right side tire stop for the number 11 machine. And fuel, of course. Maybe fuel only. Out front, the 97 trying to work on the 88. Still has really old tires. Still running a pretty good pace. Last pit lap 81, running 27.5s to the leaders 27.4s. So Nadeau's got a little bit of pace on him, but the 88 with 35 lap older tires, I would say he's doing pretty good. 2.8 the gap to Crank Bell. Man, if there's a caution now, you better believe it's going to be a heck of a battle to the end, but I'm not sure we're going to see that happen. It's a small field and things have kind of settled out, but man, could you imagine? Max Bauman still running quick laps, 27 flat last time by on just those right side tires. Great strategy call, just taking right sides, running that fuel run to the end. Made up quite a few spots. A little bit too far back to make anything happen at this point in the run, though. Not really gaining on the leader. They're running about the same lap times, right around 27.2 for both Nadeau and Bauman, so it's going to stall out right at here at about 15.8 seconds between the two. But overall, still a great drive for the 89. Wasn't quite sure what he had in mind for strategy, but he definitely had a great call in his back pocket. Just in case the night didn't go as planned. I imagine with that early spin, it probably did not, but definitely salvaged what he could. He's going to have a great points run. They're going to be the top scoring points driver of top scoring out of the top 6, the Nitro Shootout drivers for the evening. Next one down is Burchett down in 7th, followed by Wiggins, Peasley, Miller. And of course, Aaron Mack not here tonight. Hopefully see him back for that championship race next weekend. Would be a long shot, but hey, never count things out. We saw a big stumble out of the championship leader tonight. Anything can happen. Still out front, Kyle Nadeau. 13 laps until he sees that checkered flag wave over the Phoenix Raceway. Gentry doing a great job in that number 12 too, up to 4th, was 5th before the last round of pit stops, made up yet another spot. Currently, the last car on the lead lap. About 6 seconds in front of Nadeau, but I don't think Nadeau's going to get there. Gentry's still running right around the same time lap times as the leaders. 27.4 for both himself and the leader last time by. See that number creeping down just a little bit. The number that is not creeping down, however, is the gap between first and second. 3.8 seconds, the gap up from 2.8 just a few short laps ago. Kyle Nadeau is putting on a clinic here in the second half. Showing these guys how it's done in the desert. Tied for biggest mover of the race tonight. 4 spots gained for both Bauman and Gentry, so both significant gains here this evening in a relatively small field of cars. A great driving by the both of them. Great strategy calls throughout the race. Both just methodically working their way up through the standings as the race went on. Kenny Reel finally coming in for service. Last pit stop with just 6 laps remaining. On the 7th spot. Drop a spot or 2 with having to come in. Almost made the thing stretch to the end, just was not quite able to get it there. Four seconds the gap out front still for Nadeau. Maintaining that gap nicely, doing what he has to do here at the end. Just 5 laps to go for the Canadian. Not in the playoffs, but making a statement nonetheless. Getting it done in the desert here in the Lowe's Chevrolet. Royal Pegasus Motorsport. It's 2 laps to go for the driver of the number 97. Make that 1 lap to go. White flag in the air. For Kyle Nadeau over Crank Bell here at Phoenix Raceway. In the second of 3 rounds for the Nitro Shootout. Shootout drivers not going to find victory lane tonight. Bauman's going to be the top of the heap of those 6 drivers. But Nadeau is the man of the hour, getting it done after 165 laps in the Arizona desert. Kyle Nadeau brings home the win, followed by Crank Bell in second. And third place, Max Bauman in the 89. Devin Gentry going to bring it around turns 3 and 4 to finish 4th. Andy Alt's going to round out the top 5. Greg Burchett in 6th. Alex Wiggins in 7th. Randall Peasley in 8th. Kenny Reel finishing P9. 10th is going to be Zach Miller in the 38. Devin Maines down and out, finishing 11th after being competitive for so much of the race. On deck just a moment here on the Boom Tube. We're going to have driver interviews post-race. We'll see what these drivers had going through their minds throughout the race, to see what struggles they faced as they battled their way throughout the evening. Stay tuned for that in just a moment as the drivers file into the green room. And the doe proceeds to burn it down in the desert. Well-deserved win for the driver, the 97. Did what he had to do all night, had excellent long-run speed, able to take care of those tires, maximize everything this car had to offer. He's not shy about saying how much he likes these race cars, and it is showing, because, man, does he have a knack for making these things work when other people can't at these more equipment-focused tracks where you got to take care of the tires, you got to not be too aggressive, but still have the pace to hold people off. Manage the dirty air. So he's going to do a Polish victory lap here. Drivers are in the green room. Let's go ahead and get a word from our third place finisher. That's going to be Max Bauman in the number 89. All right, you've got the driver, the number 89, Max Bauman, here in the booth with us. He's trying to chase down that top spot in the point standings. How you doing after a long race in the desert there, Max?
I think it ended as best it could have, considering the start, but not a recovery drive. They seem to be common, but if we could avoid one, I'm good to go. I only have to avoid one more.
For sure. Now, we saw a little bit of trouble early. We saw a bit of an incident between yourself and the 88. Kind of reminiscent of a couple other races throughout the year. Saw you and he going back and forth for that win at Dover a few races back. Find yourselves clashing once again. So a little bit of an incident there. Looks like you might got a bit of shallow entry, and he just wasn't ready for the checkup, and a little bit of contact. Car looked okay. Did you have any damage on that thing to sort out, or was it pretty good going throughout the rest of the race?
Yeah, it was about 10 seconds worth of damage. They tinkered with the panels while they put a little extra fuel in it. I don't know if getting off strategy helped, but third place is third place, I guess.
Well, you've segued nicely to the strategy topic, because we saw a big call by you at the end of that race to take those. Was that fuel only, or did you take two there at the end? Because we saw a 9.7 second pit stop compared to the normal 14.5. So definitely saw you took something different there. But judging by the lap times, I'm guessing you took right sides. I don't know if you can confirm that for us.
Yeah, I was trying to commit to fuel strategy, but it wasn't going to help me this time, and I already been bitten by trying to stay out too long and losing all that time due to tire. So after contemplating a few things in my head, I figured needed at least a half tank, gave me time for two. Even if I lost a few seconds, there was at least going to be 10 or 15 laps where I'm going to get some of that back. And it seemed to work out.
Yeah, it did indeed. Yeah, played the strategies as well as you could have, and still came home with the top spot among the top six, so gained a few points there on Alex heading into the championship race at Vegas. How you feeling about your odds at Vegas? It's going to be one everyone's hoping to get lucky at, but of course the odds always going to be a big topic there in Vegas. How are you feeling about next week?
It's nice to be at a conventional track. As much as I love Phoenix because it's like some sick mix between like Richmond and Pocono, it's amusing once, and yeah, I think it's nice to decide the championship at a 1.5 miles, and it's one of the better 1.5 miles. It's at least fun as a driver.
I like the confidence, and yeah, it should be a nice even playing field for pretty much everybody. It's not exactly a niche track. It's kind of one that everyone's just going to have to do everything to perfection, because pretty much everyone's gotten mile-and-a-half tracks nailed down, so guys are going to have to do everything right and be able to make off the cuff calls at the last second, like he did there for 2 tires, if something doesn't go their way, and try to salvage the day. But great points day for you today. Got that extra lap led point as well. Unfortunately missed out on the 0x thanks to the early contact, but we'll be looking for that again next week. I think that small things like that don't seem like they're going to make big of a difference, but with the small field that we have, every single point counts, and that's worth 2 points, so that's a pretty big swing in the grand scheme of things when you got the top 6 drivers separated by so few points. So be looking to maximize those points. But great day for you, great comeback drive there for the 89 for Team Highlands Racing, and just congrats on the top 3, man.
Thank you so much, and yeah, thank you 614 Designs, Track Racer, BoomTube, and yeah, thanks Adam for putting on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for your time, Max. We'll hope to see you next week.
You too. Take care.
All right, that's 3rd place finisher driver of the number 89 Team Highlands Racing Toyota Camry, Max Bauman, looking for that top spot in the point standings. The only top 6 competitor to finish in the top 3. For now, we're going to go ahead and get Frank Bell on the line. 2nd place.
A little bit of practice time.
Sorry to interrupt your conversation, man. Got you here in the booth with us here at BoomTube. Came home 2nd place. You drove the wheels off that thing. We saw you halfway wrecked several times. Just absolutely throwing that thing into the corners, driving it like a madman coming off the corners, giving it everything it was worth. But how'd you feel about your night tonight in Phoenix?
Yeah, I had speed, but like you said, I literally drove the wheels off it, burn them up. I'm I'm fast. I have speed, but I really have problems saving tires, and the long runs. Kyle always eats me up. It's a little frustrating on my part, but you can't be mad at a second.
No, you can't. Like we've seen so many times. Kyle tells us every time he does well in these things how much he loves these ARCA cars. I think they must just suit his driving style pretty well, because he's able to somehow pull an extra 20 laps of tire wear out of these things, and make it stick when everyone else seems to come up just a little bit short. But he had great pace. We saw you holding off Devin in the 5 several times. Those were great battles. Probably the highlight of the night was watching those battles over the first 2 green flag runs. Saw him switching lanes, you switching lanes, some mental games going on there between the 2 of you. But great battling all night. And like we said, you did what you had to get the result, and you can't be mad at 2nd place.
No, yeah, it was a lot of fun, honestly. I mean, I always have fun battling with Devin and with Kyle. We can run side by side and switch back and forth, cross each other over, and never worry about really somebody taking the other out. We know occasionally there'll be a little mistake and we'll get into each other a little bit, but typically it's door to door, fender to fender, just right on each other without, causing a big accident.
Well,
So it's a blast to race with those guys.
absolutely, some great talents for those guys, and yourself as well. It's always a good time when you get other respectful drivers out there and be able to have good, clean battles with them like you did tonight. But hey, if it's any consolation, you did have the fastest lap of the night. You beat Kyle by 400ths. So
Nice.
you got that to hold over him. So you're the fastest man in Phoenix, despite the finish. But yeah,
Yeah,
glad
that's
to have
good.
glad to have you back with us. Been a couple weeks without you, so good to have you back racing with us, and more talented guys up front to have battles like that. It gets boring sometimes when you miss guys for a few weeks, but glad to have that 14 back on track.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I missed it. I've been having some computer issues. I lost the monitor on my triples and had to get a new set and get them all set up and everything. So it's good to be back in the cockpit and doing some good racing with these guys.
Well, whether it's real world or virtual, you got to work on the rig one way or another. It's changing engine parts or changing monitors, and it's always going to be something.
That's right.
Well, congrats on the P2 run. It was heck of a great time watching you guys battle it out all throughout the night, and you driving the absolute wheels off that thing. We thought you were wrecked a couple times. Kind of a gasping moment. Saw you off of turn 2 there, especially. Tank slap it a couple times, but way to hang on to it and bring it home second, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. Glad we put on a good show for everybody.
All right, for sure, man. Thanks for your time, and hope to see you next week in Vegas.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, sounds good. That's been your second place finisher, Crank Bell, bringing that Rocket Ridge number 14 home, P2 for the evening. All right, next up is your winner, and that is Gallardo, driver of the number 97. So go ahead and get him into the booth. Kyle, how you doing this evening after a heck of a race where you pretty much just ran away from the field? I mean, it was a pretty competitive first run, but from then on, something seemed to click with you, and you got, once you got out front, you were hard to catch.
Yeah, the lights turned on. Yeah, it just once the lights turned on and the track got a little bit more slick. Car just woke up and I took off. Crank was really fast early in the run when the sun was up. There's still a little bit of heat in track, and then once the lights started to, when the lights came on, the sun went down. Crank's car looked to have tightened up a little bit more. I don't know if he just kind of burned up his right front a little more or whatnot. But yeah, other than that, great to. I'm happy after the last 4 weeks. I think I've had 2 DNFs, so I told Greg I'm changing paint schemes, going back to Old Faithful, and seemed to work.
Seemed to work indeed. Like you said, we had wondered on broadcast. We're like, man, that 97 seems a lot quicker once that sun went down. It seems like the balance of the car shifted in his favor or something, because he's gained, a good half a tenth on pace, and he's able to keep right there with the 14 on restarts, which he's looked a little bit harder to do when the sun was still out. But yeah, good to see that confirmed. And yeah, like you're saying, I think he wore out more than the right front. I think he was making sure he got his money's worth out of all 4 corners on that car, because we saw him just about wrecked on several occasions. And per his own admission in his interview, he was using every last drop of what that car had to keep it up there. But hey, he drove the wheels off it. Had some great battles with yourself and Devin before he dropped out. But yeah, great to see you out there and great to see you back in winning form. It must have, yeah. People say it's just superstition, but I don't know, man. That lucky paint schemes, there seems to be something with them.
Yeah, there just is. I've had so much luck with this paint scheme, and Jimmy never really did have luck with this paint scheme. So I'm glad I'm glad I haven't been by that bug. But yeah, racing with Crank, I love racing with Crank. We've raced for years in previous leagues, and he's the same. You know exactly what you're gonna get. He's like Ryan Newman. He's gonna be tough to pass, but you can lean on him, and he can lean on you, and he's not going to race you dirty. He's not going to stuff you in the wall. He's going to be fair. He's going to give you just what you need, and it's your job to not wreck you both. So yeah, I love racing with Crank. I love racing with everybody in this league. It's an amazing league. Sorry the broadcast was kind of crap. New Phoenix is just it's not a good track. I don't like this track. I prefer the old Phoenix. This one races too much like a normal cookie cutter racetrack, and yeah, I know I just won here, but yeah, this I don't like this version.
All right, Kyle Busch. I know I just won, or I just finished second, but man, I hate this. But yeah, great run. I mean, we know you're always going to be a threat when it comes to tracks like this, where you just got to hang on to those tires and make them last throughout the run. I mean, did what you needed to do, and man, it seems like every time, whenever we get a night race, you're always right there in contention at the end. I know, like, pretty much every night race photograph from last season's got that number 97 out front. And I know that you were. It was a similar conversation as the other driver of that Lowe's paint scheme. So heard murmurings last season. Man, why does he got to be in this league? He's too fast, Kick him out or something. Ban him. But yeah, great driving by yourself. Go ahead and give you the floor for a minute. Anyone you'd like to shout out or mention this evening?
I'd like to thank you, Adam, for broadcasting the league and the seasons, the last 2 seasons. I know we're running down to the end here, shaping up for a fantastic battle at the at Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week with the top six. I know some contenders had some problems tonight, so that should really tighten up the field. And I think next week it's going to be more like a restrictor plate track. So I think it just comes down to whoever can finish the highest to win the championship. So that'll be good. Tune in for that. I want to thank my girlfriend for allowing me to do this on Thursday nights. Oh, and there goes my motor. That'll be expensive. I want to thank my parents for watching and everybody else for watching on the stream. Rate the drivers for racing clean, awesome racing every time. And yeah, I think. Nope, I did not get everybody. Also, I want to thank BoomTube for broadcasting, Soaring Logos for sponsoring the series, and Rogue Promotions for the Pole Award.
Well, great shout out to our sponsors. You made my job easy tonight. But that's been Kyle Nadeau, your race winner here at Phoenix, playing spoiler for the playoff field and putting on an absolute clinic in the Arizona desert. Can he get it done next week at Vegas? We'll find out right back here, 9 Eastern, right back here on the Boom Tube. So I hope to see you all next week to wrap up. Like he said, it's going to be a very tight battle for the championship. Max Baumann gained quite a few points on the number 11 of Alex Wiggins, so we're going to have to see them. We're going to get to see them go after the title next week. But hey, anything can happen. There's going to be some dark horses looking to chase them down too. Burchett had a pretty good day and several others. Anything can happen. And yeah, just when you think
usually does.
It usually does. Yeah, especially in this league, anything crazy that's going to happen usually does. But yeah, thanks for your time, Kyle. Great to have you as always. And of course, our other great competitors throughout the field. If you guys are interested in getting involved in the league, we would love to have more competitive drivers, clean, respectful drivers like Kyle, like Craig, like Devin, and so many others like Max. If you're looking to get involved, go ahead and hit up the Facebook page for Thursday Night Nitro series presented by SoaringLogos.com. And go ahead and send them a Facebook message. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. Or go ahead and look for recruitment races. We'll have those coming up Thursday nights after the season wraps up next week. So keep an eye out on the hosted tab in iRacing for those. Those will go up right around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern time, most occasions. So go ahead and look for those, and we'll get you involved in the league for next season. But that's going to do it for us for tonight. Thank you for your time, Kyle. We'll see you next week in Vegas, sir.
See you, boys. See you, everybody.
All right, that's going to wrap up our coverage here on the Boom Tube. Points tallies will be coming up pretty soon on the Thursday Night Nitro Facebook page and Instagram pages, so keep an eye on those for the updated points after this race. Once they get tabulated together, we'll have those out for you, and we'll see if we can get them out on the YouTube community page here for BoomTube. So keep an eye on those channels. We'll get those up to date and kind of set the stage for next week. Once again, that's going to be Las Vegas Motor Speedway, classic mile-and-a-half racetrack, and it's going to be a pretty even playing field where these guys can duke it out for the championship. So be looking for that next week, and we hope to see you back here. Great driving by all the drivers. Thank you to everyone who came and watched. We see quite a few people out there tonight. Feel free to come back next weekend and check it out. It's going to be a great battle right back here. As always, I've been Adam Lavox here for the Boom Tube, and we will see you all next time.